Hi, this is Jodi. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to show you what I think is the hidden treasure in the Stampin' Up! Occasions catalog this year. So if you've got this catalog, it started back in January, you've had it a while, hopefully you've noticed this individual stamp here called Love is Kindness. I've had the stamp for a while. I love tulips, so I ordered it right away, but I haven't taken the time to play with it until recently. And I sat down and pulled it out. Like I said, it's just a single stamp, so it's just this one big stamp. I pulled it out to make some cards, and I was just so excited because I made 5 cards in such a short amount of time that were totally different, and it was just really fun and easy to play with. So this is the one I'm going to show you today. What I did is stamped this image on some vellum cardstock. So I want to show you how to do that and get some of the color on there too. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got a piece of vellum cardstock, and this is 2.5 by 3 3/4 of an inch. And I'm using my black StazOn ink. I'm going to just tap this across, make sure it's all inked up. And then when I go to stamp on the vellum, I just want to make sure that it doesn't slide. The vellum is not quite the same feel as regular cardstock, so when I set it on here, I want to make sure it doesn't slip. So I just set it on there carefully, press down to make sure the whole image is stamped carefully, and then I'm just holding the corner of the vellum. If I lift up, I knew it was going to do that just because I've done it so many times. So I just stick my finger on the corner and kind of peel the stamp right off of it. So let me go ahead and close this. By the way, it stays on ink pad because the lid just comes off like that. Always store it upside down on your shelf, and that way it'll keep the ink at the top of the pad for you. So I've got the image on here. You can see the vellum is somewhat translucent. You can see through it a little bit. Excuse me. And so what I'm going to do is actually color on the back side. I'm not sure if you can see right now. You can tell it's just a tiny bit wet. It does take just a couple of minutes to dry on the vellum. Whereas when you stamp it directly into the cardstock, it dries immediately. So I'm just going to carefully set this down this way, and I'm going to take 2 markers. I've got my Old Olive marker and then also crushed curry. So I'll start with Old Olive, and again I'm coloring on the back. So I stamped the image and then flipped it over. And I always use my brush end. You can certainly use the fine point end if you're nervous about coloring smaller spots with the brush end of the marker. But I'm just adding the color. You can see I just kind of brush it on here almost like it's a paintbrush rather than coloring like you would like with a crayon or something. So I'll just go ahead and add that color, the Old Olive, to all of the stems and leaves. And then I'll go back and add color to the actual petals. Like I said, I knew I wanted this stamp right away because I love tulips, and I just can't believe how long it took me to actually pull it out and use it. So it definitely gets my vote for hidden treasure in the Occasions catalog, because as you'll see, you'll have to tune into my other videos. I've got a few of them planned, and each of the cards that I do with this set are so totally different. You'll be amazed at the different looks that you can get with one single stamp. So just finish up with the crushed curry. And then what makes a big difference on this card, first of all, let me back up. I used a Whisper White note card with envelope. This is some designer paper from the Park Lane Designer Series paper. I've got some black cardstock. There's a little bit of the Hello Honey quilted cotton ribbon, and then I've got my vellum cardstock. But what I did before I laid this piece on the black is I slid a piece of Whisper White the exact same size, so 2.5 by 3 3/4. I put that underneath it, and that way it really just lets that color pop right off of the paper. So putting that white cardstock behind it makes a big difference. Now what I'll do is take my regular adhesive, and I'm going to put a little bit behind some of the petals, some of the stems here, anywhere where there's coloring. I don't want to do it right out in the open because you would definitely see that through, but I can just strategically place it behind things and then push down on there like that. And it's not, you know, this is going to be loose still. That's how it is on this one too, but it's very secure on there from where it is holding. So a quick and creative card with the Love is Kindness single stamp from the Occasions catalog. Thanks so much for watching. For daily creative inspiration or to place an order, visit my blog. You can also find me on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram.